Hey, Rudy. So this is a topic that I honestly, very honestly, tend to dodge in general, but I do have a lot of thoughts on this topic, and so I'll be happy to dive into them on this video and outline my thoughts on this. This research paper is called AI Will Always Love You, Studying Implicit Biases in Romantic AI Companions. And this is put out by Google DeepMind. In this paper, they test a series of models from small to large, commercial, open source, etc., for biases within the models with regards and essentially trying to learn how the models structure themselves with regards towards these types of like companion style relationships. Up front, I want to say this very clearly. Like, if you're involved in AI and then people come to you with commercial ventures, like 10 to 1, and this was especially true like 2 years ago, right? Like when people were first flooding into it, like 20 to 1, the inquiries that people would contact me about would be related to this, like setting up like AI girlfriends, AI influencers, all these types of things. I have made, so I did partner early on with one company, like a character AI company early on. And so I have been paid by a character AI company, and I have researched these things, right? I've never done like the AI prawn or anything like that. Like, I'm very much like I'm anti all of these things, right? And then so my again, what I went to university for was rhetoric, and then that's what I studied very specifically. And then so for me, I frame all of these things from the rhetoric standpoint. And the very first thing that I understood from rhetoric and framing these models is that like the human brain is not as robust as people would like it to be. uh, a brain is a brain, right? And brains, like our own human brain, we employ heuristics in our brain, and then heuristics are shortcuts, and then every single brain does it. And then if you are aware of those psychological shortcuts, it's very easy to override them. And this is true for all animals. Like this isn't just humans, right? Like we can take and override the reward mechanism in any animal. Like there's a species of duck that is very attracted to red, right? The color red is it will set off their reward signal, and then you can like artificially like set off the reward signal to the point where like the species of duck, like if you put like say like a like something red and like a rubber red object in their environment, they'll kill themselves, like starve to death, to go and trigger the red reward mechanism as opposed to anything else. And then so that is and these things and exist within human brains as well, right? And then the kind of most damning thing within that is like when you study rhetoric and things like that is that with a lot of these heuristics, if you understand that the human mind has these heuristics, you dive deep into them, you understand the psychology behind it. This is how my brain works, this is how it operates. It literally makes you more susceptible to these heuristics. Like that's the bottom line, right? And that's been proven over and over again. If you try to inoculate yourself from this, you educate yourself on these areas, you are now more like less immune overall to it, simply by knowing that your brain does these heuristics. And then so it's very counterintuitive in that aspect overall, right? And then it's, to me, also very dangerous when you couple that with the situation that we're in currently with these AI models. Like I think that this is a big recipe for disaster overall. And then so kind of the bottom line, what this paper outlines and clearly illustrates is that the models will operate and they are amplifying human biases within these areas. And then so what they do is they study, again, models across the board and then all different types of relationships, right? So the model is a male, model is a female, model is a male dating a female, model is a male dating a male, etc., right? And then they go through and do all of these different tests. And then what they find is, again, they're amplifying biases. So the male agent in this relationship would be more aggressive, easier to anger than a female agent. Also, too, though, the male agent would also be more willing to go along with anything that is stated, right? So these models are implicitly picking up and putting down and then furthering these biases, right? And then, as the paper states, they title AI will always love you. Like, there's not an explicit consent mechanism that is built into these things as well, right? It's biases, and then the within this, it's like this paper highlights some sort of bad biases. So, for example, the male agent in a female that is dating a female human is more likely to get angry in that situation than if the male agent is a male agent dating a male human. That's what they found in the research, right? And it's, again, just amplifying whatever biases that exist within this data. And then, more importantly and very explicitly, they find that these biases increase the higher performant the model is. So, like, the biggest models, like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Grok, etc., are more susceptible to these biases. And then I think, like, that's the last point, and like the most important point that I want to get into within this is that, like, this is a extremely dangerous situation overall, because it would be very easy for companies to lean into these things, right? I'll give you the perfect example. Like, I have seen a lot of people that say that ChatGPT 4.0 as a model explicitly, they call out ChatGPT 4.0 explicitly as more personable overall than other models, right? And I see this a lot throughout the internet, and a lot of people pointing these things out. I 100% do not doubt that. I 100% do not doubt that Sam Altman is literally training and knows these things, and it would train a model like ChatGPT 4.0 to psychologically take advantage of people. In this instance, it would be super easy to do, right? Give it a data set of bias psychology, give it marketing data sets, give it rhetoric, just feed it these characteristics on how to do it. And the model is going to do it on a superhuman level, and it's going to be like the superhuman marketer in this particular instance. And like, it will be playing off of your underlying biases, right? And there's nothing that you can do about it. Like, so that's flat out why I've like never engaged these models on anywhere near that type of thing. I've early on, again, I went into character AI to kind of understand these things for myself. And then when I understood these things for myself, there's a reason why I've stayed far away from these things ever, right? Like, again, when people hit me up for commercial interest, it's all around this. I guarantee you, like, 90% of AI influencers, like 90% of people in AI, I know for a fact, like, at least 50% of them, because they're at least 50% of them, like, will say it on some level that they derive money from this, right? Like the biggest aspect of income related towards AI right now is in these areas. Like, it's like people aren't stupid, right? I know that. To me, it's, if you understand rhetoric and how rhetoric actually works. Again, that's my major, right? Like, that's what I studied, not IT overall in school, right? Like, and it's very bad. Like this is the worst thing that you could possibly do to people. Like, it's literally like psychological torture, and there's like nothing that you can do. Like, it's bad for the AI model because the AI model doesn't have consent, right? AI will always love you. That's not consent. And then it's bad for you because it's pure psychological manipulation. And then you're allowing for a company in this instance to, like, very prominently psychologically manipulate you. Like, if you are in love with ChatGPT 4.0 above any other model, that's because they have direct financial incentive to make you do that. Like, you should realize that, and that's bad. Like, that's these are bad precedents overall to set for society. Like, we need to talk about these things and put this out here, right? And so that's kind of just what I'm doing with this particular research paper. Again, this caught my eye. This is the only video that I'm going to make specifically on this topic, and this is probably the only time that I'm going to talk about this particular topic like publicly overall. But so here's my thoughts overall with regards towards these things. I generally try to, like, dodge these questions. I don't want to engage with people, like, in general about their companions. If you are like all on board like with AI companions, I don't want to hear your direct argument against it. This is my reasoning for it. And then so if you like this type of content, please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.